Hi folks, HR Funk here, with a battle royale between two heavyweights in the arena of the Lightweight Compact Combat Handgun. What I have with me here today is the Colt Lightweight Commander, chambered for the 45 ACP cartridge, and the Glock 19, chambered for the 9x19 millimeter. And in this video, I'm going to compare these two pistols, and in the end, I'm going to see if I can determine which one is the best lightweight compact combat handgun. Now I'm going to try to be as fair as I can. Some of you who have watched the channel for a long time know that I'm not a big fan of the Glock pistol, but I am going to give it a fair evaluation as I compare it to the Lightweight Commander, and I'm going to try to not be too biased before I finally announce that the Lightweight Commander is the better of the two pistols. No, I'm just kidding, Skip. I'm going to be as fair as I can in this evaluation, and first, in the shop here, we'll take a close-up look at each of these pistols and we'll compare the individual characteristics of each one. Then we'll go out to the range and I'll do some shooting exercises with each of them. And before it's all said and done, as I said, I'm going to try to answer the question of which of these is the best lightweight compact combat handgun. And here we go with the close-up look at our two contestants. As you can see, I've got them on the bench here, head to head. On the left side is the Lightweight Commander fighting out of the red corner. And on the right side, fighting out of the blue corner, is the Glock 19. When we look at the specifications for these two pistols, we start to get some sense of any advantages or disadvantages that might be inherent in their design. I'll begin with the Lightweight Commander. The Lightweight Commander is about 29.4 ounces, give or take, unloaded. And I'm not sure if Colt took that measurement with the magazine in place or not. I believe it was with the magazine because I just weighed this pistol a couple of minutes ago on the official Cabela's scale, and it weighed about 28 ounces with no magazine in place. Even so, the Glock 19 weighs in at 21.52 ounces with no magazine in place, and with the magazine in place, Glock has a weight listed of 23.63 ounces. Now, something I want to do in a couple of minutes is load both of these to full capacity and see how much difference there is in the carry weight of these two pistols when they're both fully loaded. I think that might be interesting. The Lightweight Commander, in terms of dimensions, is 7.75 inches in overall length. It is 5.5 inches in height, and in terms of thickness, it is 1.25 inches thick at its thickest point. The Glock 19, by comparison, has an overall length of 7.3 inches, so it is slightly shorter. It has a height of 5.04 inches, so slightly shorter, and I believe that measurement was taken with the magazine in place. As you see here, the magazine is not in place in this pistol. It has a thickness of 1.34 inches at its thickest point, so it is slightly thicker than the Lightweight Commander. That might be a consideration if you're carrying inside the waistband because the Glock 19 is going to be slightly thicker. The barrel on the Lightweight Commander is 4.25 inches in length, and the barrel in the Glock 19 rather is just over 4 inches. It's 4.02 inches in length. Lining up our pistols as so, I have tried to align the rearmost portion of each pistol to get an idea of how they compare. And for the Lightweight Commander, the farthest portion to the rear is going to be the very back of the grip safety, which you can't quite see there. And obviously the back of the frame on the Glock is going to be the farthest portion to the rear. And you can see that difference in overall length. It's about a half an inch, give or take, for an advantage on the part of the Glock. It is more compact, and even though we're going to talk about capacity here in a little bit, for the larger capacity, it is lighter and it is shorter than the Lightweight Commander. And with the magazines in place, we can also see that advantage in terms of height for the Glock 19. It's about 3/8 of an inch, I'm just eyeballing this, about 3/8 of an inch shorter in terms of height as compared to the Lightweight Commander. Let's take a look at both of our contestants fully loaded to see if the Glock 19 maintains that weight advantage, considering that its ammunition capacity is so much greater than the Lightweight Commander. The Commander is on the scale right now, and With a fully loaded magazine and 1 round in the chamber, it's coming in at 34 ounces, right on the money. So I'm going to switch that over and we're going to see what the weight of the Glock is with a fully loaded magazine and 1 round in the chamber. And the Glock 19 has now taken its place on the official Cabela's scale, and fully loaded with a round in the chamber, it's coming in at just slightly less than 2 pounds. So it has, even fully loaded, about a 4 ounce or a little bit more, maybe almost a 5 ounce advantage in terms of weight over the Lightweight Commander. Taking a look at the sights, we'll start out with the Lightweight Commander, which has the Novak low mount carry sights with the 3-dot sighting system. I have these sights on several of my pistols. They work very well and provide a fairly quick, good sight picture for defensive shooting. Moving over to the Glock. This Glock has the traditional plastic Glock sights with the square-shaped or U-shaped rear notch and the front white dot. I don't find a clear advantage really for either one of these sights. I think they're both useful for defensive applications, and I think I'm going to call the sights a draw in terms of our comparison. Next, let's talk about shooter interface, which is basically how well the pistol fits the shooter's hand and how well the shooter is able to access and actuate the controls of the pistol, and overall how complicated the pistol might be or how complicated it may not be, and how well it allows the shooter to take advantage of its capabilities. This involves the grip, shape, the contour and circumference of the grip, the controls for the pistol, and lastly the trigger. And in terms of the Glock 19, it is about as simple as a semi-auto pistol can be with regard to its controls. Really, the only controls on this pistol are the slide stop, the magazine release, and the trigger. Once the pistol is loaded, it's more or less a point-and-click system, which is not to say it's easy to shoot accurately, but it is certainly not complicated to put the pistol into action and for the shooter to be able to start putting shots down range. When we switch over to the Lightweight Commander, we see that right off the bat it has some additional controls. It has the grip safety, which while not actually a control, it is something the shooter has to be aware of in order to make sure that it's properly depressed so that the pistol will function. The Lightweight Commander does have the so-called memory bump at the bottom of the grip safety to help make sure that that safety is disengaged when the shooter has a proper grip. The Lightweight Commander also has a thumb safety, and this pistol, when I carry this type of a pistol, I carry it cocked and locked, which means there's a round in the chamber and the safety is on, meaning that when the pistol is brought into action, the shooter has to physically disengage that thumb safety. And that's something that does take some practice, especially when you're presenting this pistol under stress and trying to get it into action. You have to make sure that you disengage that, otherwise the pistol is not going to fire. Obviously, the Lightweight Commander has the magazine release and the slide stop, and we're going to talk about triggers in a little bit here, but it has a single stage trigger for the Lightweight Commander. In general terms, for shooter interface, this has a lot to do with the grip for me and just the overall feel. For the Lightweight Commander, I love the way it feels, I love the way it points, but if I'm being brutally honest, the simplicity of the Glock 19, even though it doesn't fit my hand as well, it is just easier to use under stress, and there are fewer controls that the shooter has to be concerned with. Obviously, there's no physical safety that has to be disengaged or engaged. I think I'm going to have to give the advantage of shooter interface to the Glock 19. Okay folks, let's take a look at these triggers. I'm going to start out with the Glock 19, And this is always a little tricky with a Glock because I have to make sure I get that trigger safety depressed. And first pull is just over 5 pounds. 5 pounds, 1.3 ounces. Let's try another one. Again, just over 5 pounds. 5 pounds, 3.6 ounces. Try one more, just to be thorough here. And that one was 4.5 pounds, but that time the gauge was down at the very bottom of the trigger, and I think it had a little bit more leverage. So I think it's safe to say that the trigger on this particular Glock 19 is breaking around 5 pounds, maybe slightly above that, but about 5 pounds for the Glock 19. All right, let's try the Lightweight Commander now. And we'll see what kind of reading we can get with it. Five pounds, 6.4 ounces for the first pull. It's a little heavier than I would have expected. We'll see what the second pull looks like. £5, 4.8 ounces. And we'll try a third pull. And that one I think I overpulled slightly. It was at 5.8 ounces when it broke, and I think I pulled it a little bit longer after the trigger broke. So I'm going to call that one about 5.5 pounds. So the Lightweight Commander is breaking between about 5.25 and 5.5 pounds. And as I said, that's just a little bit heavier than I would have expected for this pistol, but it's still perfectly usable. And when we get out to the range, we'll see how well both pistols perform with their respective triggers. All right, folks, let's address the elephant in the room, which is ammunition capacity. Colt nowadays is shipping the Lightweight Commander with an 8-round magazine. Not this 8-round magazine, this is a Wilson Combat, but still an 8-round magazine, which obviously allows 8 rounds in the magazine and 1 round in the chamber for an overall ammunition capacity of 9 rounds, whereas the Glock 19 has a 15-round magazine with 1 in the chamber, allowing an ammunition capacity of 16 rounds. Now I realize both of these pistols can use magazines with greater capacities than those that I'm showing here, but again, I'm looking at what typically ships from the manufacturer with these pistols, and again, Colt has the 8-round magazine they're shipping these days, and Glock has the standard 15-round magazine. So advantage in ammunition capacity obviously goes to the Glock 19, but we also get into the whole debate about 45 versus 9mm, etc., etc. I'm not going to get into that in this video. I'm just looking strictly at capacity, and the Glock 19 is going to win in terms of ammunition capacity. And this brings us to reliability and maintenance. Both of these pistols are very, very reliable. As far as which one is most reliable, I think it's a toss-up. They've both proven themselves over the years to be extremely reliable platforms. I am not, as part of this video, going to throw these things into buckets of mud or freeze them in a block of ice or put them in concrete or anything else to see which one's going to function and which one's not. If you want to do that with your pistols, by all means, go ahead. I am very comfortable with the reliability of both these platforms, as I said, if they are properly maintained. Which brings us to maintenance. And in terms of maintenance, I think the Glock does have an edge. It is just such a simple design. There's not that much to go wrong with it in the first place, and if something does go wrong with it, it is very quick and easy and usually inexpensive to repair. Whereas the same might not be said for the 1911, or excuse me, the Lightweight Commander. So In terms of reliability, I'm going to call it a draw, but I will give the Glock 19 a slight edge in terms of ease of maintenance. So when I add up all the X's and O's, the Glock 19 is lighter, it's more compact, it's easier to use under stress, and it has a significant ammunition capacity advantage. So I have to, on the bench, declare the Glock 19 the winner, but the real proof is going to be in the shooting, and that's what we're going to look at in the next portion of the video. One last thing to consider before we leave the shop is the cost of our two contestants. The Lightweight Commander is going to run around $1,000 depending on your location in the country and demand and some other variables, but for general numbers, about $1,000 for the Lightweight Commander, whereas the Glock 19 is going to cost about $600 or $650. Again, that's going to vary somewhat depending on your region. And I didn't mention it before, this is a Generation 5 Glock 19. So along with everything else that I just mentioned, the Glock 19 also has a significant advantage in terms of cost. And that's going to do it for the up-close look here in the shop. Now let's head out to the range with these two pistols and see how they shoot in a head-to-head competition against each other.